Malibongwe. I hule ANC, I hule. I hule ANC, I hule. Forward with the unity in the ANC, forward. Auwe mmuso wa Israel, auwe. Auwe mmuso wa apartheid wa Israel, auwe. Auwe mmuso wa apartheid wa Israel, auwe. Thank you very much. Dumelang, my comrades. Good afternoon, comrades. As promised, we are back again. We are saying until Palestine is freed, we will never stop. This irritation is necessary, comrade. And thank you very much for leaving comrades, your commitments, and we really appreciate your contribution in the solidarity work. Forward with solidarity work, forward! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea. From the river to the sea. Amandla! Comrades, we are now starting with our official program. Before we can do any introductions and welcoming message of support, I'm going to request that we allow the DJ to play the national anthem of South Africa, and then followed by a national anthem, yes, Palestine. Lina Leon. Google, go see sigelen. Or tla yo pela ne makom. Ke ma khona opela hantle. Comrade was ready. Comrade Pinky, Tloyo. Sabelo yabizwa, Comrade Pinky. Amandla, Comrade Pinky, Amandla. Sure. Yeah. Albatla makhuwa. Runa ropela ya mulao. Ya runa ke ya mulao.
Keep up this shoot together.
National anthem ya rona. Riska move, riska bua. Amandla. Kopala rona dikatiba bontate. Are kopala national. Africa malupaga pondwayo izwa imithandazo yethu Nkosi sikelela thina lusapho lwayo Nkosi sikeleli Africa maluphakanyisu phondo lwayo izwa imithandazo yethu Nkosi sikelela thina lusapho lwayo ya moya samoya Nkosi sikelela lusapho lwayo Morena boloka setjhaba sa heso edise dintwa le matshwenyeho Morena ka setšhaba heso o fele dintwa le matre se boloke o se boloke mona setšhaba sa heso sa South Africa o se boloke morena se boloke setšhaba heso South Africa Benjalo Bengunapa Gata Bengun Ube Loma Gube Benjama Gube Kuze Gube Ngunapa Kate Kuze Gube Ngunapa Te Andla
Amandla, comrades, comrade Pinky usilidile in singing Yenkosi Sigelela Yagababu Enoch Sontong. We are the MC who are going to sing the national anthem. Kosi Sigeleli Afrika Isu pondolwayo izwa imitandazo yetu kosi sigela tina lusapolayo murena uluka chabasa esu ufedise twaliswe usibuke sichasa sichasa South Africa a diploma on se yem a deep te fanoncier Oronsier weg geberdes wat die kranse antwoord geef. Sounds the call to come together and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa. Our land. Amandla, free Palestine, free.
re sa eme jwalo comrades a re mameleng national anthem ya Palestine. Comrades, arrivini, comrades. Amandla! Amandla! Free, free Palestine! Comrades, without any waste of time, are amuheleng leaders from COSAS, leaders from SASCO, leaders from Youth League, leaders from YCL, comrades, if honale RC members ba teng ba Motshwane re kopa le re joineng, if ba le teng from the alliance re kopa le re joineng mona re le amogela comrades e re amogele comrade Ntswalo ke member ya RC from Quebec.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Viva the freedom of Palestinian people! Viva! Viva!
Akibone RC members from Tshwane. Bakay ma comrade Cosatu khona. Yes, yeah. Ngisho ngithe SASCO ngithe COSAS ngithe Cosatu. Viva Cosatu, viva. Cosatu, COSAS. Nehau ngithe all leaders bezela. Comrade from Cosatu uThepe ngicela ukuzela siyakuhlonipha leader. Ngicela mhloniphe re kopa utle mona palama mona o tsamaya mokwaledi wa rona ntate Jacob Khawe. Comrades sicela ya amandla, viva Cosatu, viva, viva basebenzi, viva. Okay, comrades, irere amuhele PEC members, if baliteng from Cosatu, from COSAS, from Women's League, if baliteng kaofela comrades nka se kgone ho bitsa amuhele kopa if baliteng kopa ba pele mona ke amuhele BDS coalition leaders are welcome. Irike amuhele leaders ba Africa for Palestine, comrades Mohammed, you are welcome. Irike amuhele mme wa rona wa ambassador ya Palestine la mo tseba ke reng. Please greet the people. E re ke mo dumedise ke mo ele. Amandla. Viva Palestine, viva! Viva South Africa, viva! Viva international solidarity, viva! La utlwa se tsa tseba le puo ya rona. Sure. I'm told the national chair of YCL is here. Comrade Abulisa Bantu.
Amandla. Amandla. Forward and solidarity forward.
Chairperson wethu we Cosatu, Stella Bulise.
Mandla, awethu. Long live the spirit of Yasser Arafat, long live. Live the spirit of Yasser Arafat, long live. Long live the spirit of Nelson Mandela, long live.
Cosatu. Okay. Viva Cosatu, viva. Sure. Ntate Jacob Kawe, mokwaledi wa rona wa mo Gauteng. Re kopa dumedise batho. Cosatu ke le coverile ke.
Phansi nge-Israel phansi. Phambili ngenkululeko ePalestine phambili. Phansi ngendlala phansi. Phansi ngokudlwengula phansi. Phambili ngedemocracy phambili. Viva ANC, viva. Viva President Ramaphosa, viva. Amandla.
Aka siya motho ne. Kopa le bona le leader le mpontsha ke ra ke ba bone. Ke sile mang? Communist Party teng. Re kopa di leader tsa Communist Party di tle. Okay. Comrade, re kopa message of support 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Amandla. Amandla. Down with Israel, down. Down with Israel, down. Forward with Palestinian solidarity, forward. Forward with Palestinian solidarity, forward. Comrades from African National Congress, national organizer, the provincial leadership of the ANC, the leadership of South African Communist Party, the leadership of Young Communist League, rank and file. From various districts, I see district secretaries who are here to pledge solidarity with the people of Palestine against aggressive regime of Israel that continue to fight against humanity. That is against the peace and justice for total liberation of our people in Palestine. Our people in Palestine, we know that out of 530 villages in Palestine were wiped out by Israel. This Israel that is concocting with the United States of America to kill innocent people, which refuse Palestine for its own self-determination. We are saying why we still have a building called Israel Embassy here in South Africa. They must go next door. If we are serious as South African government, we know how we treat diplomatic relations. We know we can't have party-to-party trade relation with Palestine while we can't have the party-to-party with Palestine, but while we still have Israel embassy here. Israel must go. That demotion of relocating the status here to be clerks, to be boys and girls and clerks, now it's time they must go. This is our land. Why are you still begging Israel to be here? You must boycott their food. You must boycott their security companies, including those. Why are you so afraid? Why are you vocal about other countries when they have the problem? Why do you have a problem? Assist these people. They are with us. These are our people, because we as South Africans who are known to be people of peace, who are known to be people of humanity. Why don't we lead by example and show humanity by ensuring that we remove brick by brick of Israel embassy on our land? They must go. Why do you want to negotiate with people in your own land? Why? Why are you romantic with them? Why do you benefit? Why do you benefit to have them here? And as Young Communist League was saying, people of Palestine deserve self-determination. They deserve to have their own land, and will continue to be with them side by side. Thank you very much.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Thank you very much, YCL. Comrades, can I invite a leader from COSAS? COSAS, iteng COSAS. Bakos Kolone. SASCO. Iteng. Arabati di forma. Ke kopa o bitsa Youth League, REC.
Amandla, our two, greeting to the MDM structures and protocol observed, comrades. We've been coming to Israel every day, comrades. As the PIA, we need to go sit back. We must come and enter here, because we can't be addressing the Israel in our country outside. We're young, hot when there are trees out inside here. So we need to go and organize ourselves as the Youth League and the PIA and enter this Israel. That is not us, it belongs to us. And we can't be living freely. So when the people of Palestine have been by Israel apartheid, the manga.
Amandla! Amandla! Malibongwe! Malibongwe! Akhona amakhosikazi! Malibongwe! Akhona amakhosikazi! Asithole ke ozawukhulumela khosikazi. Re kopa o tla buellang bomme Women's League RC. Women's League RC. Anyone RC? Angeke sikhulumelana amakhosikazi angakhulumi. Makhosikazi nikhona? Okay, it is indlule. Oh, bathi leadership ayikho. All right, mari siyabonga bakhona amakhosikazi. Re jwanong re bitse chairperson wa rona wa province wa Cosatu.
Mandla, Matla, Arona, Viva Cosatu, viva! Viva Cosatu, viva! Viva SACP, viva! Viva SACP, viva! Viva the ANC, viva! Long live the people of Palestine, long live! Long live the spirit of Yasser Arafat, long live! Program Director, leadership present here today. So I see the NEC member of the ANC, Comrade Nomvula, is present here today. the chair, the secretary of the province of the ANC, Comrade Tawe. I've seen the deputy chair of the SACP in Tswane. All of you, comrade present here, workers who left your work today to come and advance the struggles of the people of Palestine. The first thing that we want to say as workers, particularly to our government, that our government has been lenient for quite some time with Israel. And as we agree with the young people that South Africa defeated apartheid, and our forebearer, Nelson Mandela, taught us that we cannot rest until the people of Palestine are free. That's a radical statement. And that means that we cannot be friends with people who perpetuate human violation and the self-determination of another country. So there should be a discussion led by the president of the country and the president of the African Congress that Israel does not have a place in South Africa. So that's the first thing. If you are radical, the first thing that you say is that we can't even do trade with Israel. We must boycott all the goods that are coming from Israel. We know many of us are using the HPs and all of those things, products coming from Israel, aiding it, yet we are campaigning against it at the same time. It cannot be correct. So our government must start now to be radical in some of the things. Israel is not different from the leadership of the West, from NATO, that can distract other countries without any punishment. Nobody punishes them. NATO today is perpetuating or invoking other countries, and when they respond, NATO responds differently, as if they are the protectors of human rights. Yet they are the worst human rights violation in the world. And Israel is part of those. The atrocities that they commit against the people of Palestine is barbaric. The bombing of Palestine on a daily basis is barbaric. It is upon those issues that the people of South Africa must campaign for the freedom of the Palestinians and a two-state solution. So that's what we need to do. And as we do that thing, the young people of Bekelibeke, when you are in a campaign, you don't run a touching lives campaign. You run a solid campaign. We take a risk here today that Cosatu will release its workers to come at Israel every month, every Friday, to ensure that we continue with the campaign. We just don't want weak campaigns where you come in here once and Israel is not coming out here, and then we leave, nothing happens. We'll discuss with our alliance partners that Runa, we are not in a game of playing, we are in a game of solidarity with the people of Palestine, with the people of Cuba, with the people of Swaziland, with the people of Venezuela. Oh, therefore, every month we pick a Friday, we are here. We did it when we were campaigning against the release of the Cuban 5, and we succeeded. We know it can succeed. Long live Yasser Arafat, long live. Down with Palestine, down. Down with Palestine, down. Viva Cosatu, viva. Thank you.
Amandla. Viva Cosatu, viva. In a nutshell, Chairperson we Cosatu Uti, we are prepared. We are prepared to be human shields, protecting Palestine. We are prepared, just like Mandela, Wati, for the sake of peace and preventing war. We are prepared to stand in the front line and be human shield to protect Palestine against Israel. Enough, it's enough, Israel. Sizwile. Now we are going to call BDS Coalition in Africa. Amandla.
Amandla. Nkosi yami ngiyeka. Comrades. Amandla. Awethu. Long live the undying spirit of Comrade Yasser Arafat. Long live. We have a Facebook also. Nah? Long live the undying spirit of Comrade Fidel Castro of Cuba. Long live. Long live the undying spirit of Comrade Julius Nyerere of Tanzania. Long live. Long live the undying spirit of Comrade Kenneth Kaunda of Zambia. Long live. Long live the undying spirit of Comrade Samora Machel of Mozambique. Long live. Long live the undying spirit of Comrade Semno Yumo of Namibia. Long live. Long live the undying spirit of Comrade Hugo Chavez of Venezuela. Long live. Long live the undying spirit of Comrade Oliver Tambo. Long live. Long live the undying spirit of Comrade Chris Hani. Long live. Akari, I'm a communist. We must end on Comrade Chris. Comrade, I think it's very embarrassing to be part of the solidarity movement nowadays because the PUA, the ANC Alliance, Cosatu and the party have embarrassing us by being at the forefront consistently on the issue of Palestine, on the issue of Cuba, on the issue of West Sahara. Right now, some white people there in Europe are fighting with other white people and they want us to now have an opinion. We've always had an opinion on international solidarity. The only difference between us and between NATO, the only difference between South Africa, the non-aligned movement, between the alliance and between NATO and US and its proxies is that we've been consistent in calling out Israel's apartheid policies. We've been consistent in terms of protesting against Israel's apartheid policies. I think that today, as somebody has been part of the international solidarity movement in our country, I feel alive. I feel alive on these streets with you. Here is the blood and here is the spirit of internationalism. Here is a spirit of international solidarity. Just as how the Palestinians once trained us, gave us financial resources. Just as how people from the Soviet Union, people from Cuba and elsewhere, volunteered in our forces. Likewise, we are coming here in that spirit. We are not just waking up all of a sudden because Joe Biden or some other US president is asking us to be on their side. We are here because we are consistently here. We are here and we have the scars to prove it. We are here because we have the bullet holes to prove it. Malcolm, last year Israel killed, in less than 2 weeks, in 11 days, they killed 232 Palestinians. More than 65 of them were children under the age of 16. 3 of them were pregnant women. Just last week, they killed a 14-year-old Palestinian by the name of Mohammed. Yes, all of us are Mohammed this, Mohammed that. This one was Mohammed Shahada. He was 14 years old and he was killed. Just 3 days ago, there was a young girl of 12 years old. She was deaf in the ears. They shot her with a canister in her mouth, blood seeping. So we are not here because it's fashionable. We are making it fashionable. We are not here because of one incident. We are here because of all the incidents. Malcolm, just a few weeks ago, Amnesty International, a United States-based human rights group, has come out and said at last that Israel is an apartheid regime. But Mama Winnie Mandela, by the way, was one of our first leaders more than 2 decades ago to have come out and to have said
Israel's an apartheid state and we must do to Israel what we once did to the apartheid regime. What I'm saying is that Amnesty did not just wake up and decide that today Israel's an apartheid state. It was forced. It was forced because of the protests, because of the pickets, and because the ANC, the party, Cosatu, has never forgotten its obligation to international solidarity. And so, in conclusion, Macom, really it's not only an embarrassment, but it's also an utter privilege to be with each and every member that has gathered here today. We really must, whilst we have Mama Action here, we are also having Mama Solidarity. Comrade Peace has been consistent. Every other week she wants us to be at the Embassy of Swaziland, Embassy of Morocco, Embassy of United States. We must thank Comrade Peace and Comrade Jacob of the province and all regions for being consistent in their solidarity. And also, I think that we want to go out of our way to thank the Palestinian ambassador who's really become an activist. I do think that we forced her within our context that now she says, Amandla, we are slowly training her. But I think we must thank the ambassador and her team, Comrade Bassam and Comrade Asuna and others, for really pushing us and for making sure that we are on the right side of history. Amandla.
Amandla. Siyabonga, Solidarity, BDS. Now we are going to call SACP, Amakomanis. Okay, thank you. Now we are going to call our provincial chairperson, Comrade Jacob Kawe. Sorry, I make mistakes a lot. Sorry, our provincial chairperson. Our provincial secretary, Comrade Jacob Kawe, to come on stage and to give us a message of support. I think he will call the senior leaders, that the ambassador from Palestine, no Mama Action, before we hand over the memorandum.
Amandla. 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 Thank you. Comrade Nomvula will speak on behalf. Mine is to introduce her, and before I do so, because I have full confidence in the intelligence system of every apartheid government, I know that the Israelites are listening to us. They are watching us, and they have hope that our own South African police should protect them against these peaceful people. They have a wish and a hope that our own South African police could protect them against fellow peaceful South Africans. Now we are disappointing them because we are so peaceful that we work with our police to the apartheid government of Israel. So I want to thank the South African police. As you walk with us coming here, you must know that you are here, unfortunately, to defend the apartheid government against the progressive people of the world. But you're doing your job very well. I also want to thank all these comrades who are here, who have given your time for solidarity. At times we have little time for solidarity work and more time on ourselves. But today we are here as a united force in solidarity with the people of Palestine. And the message is going to come from Mama Action. So we have Mama Action and Mama Solidarity. Right, Mama Palestine? We have Mama Action, Mama Solidarity, Mama Palestine. Malibongwe. Let me say something that I wish the media could cover. The new ambassador of Israel who came here some few days ago and was welcomed by South African government, it was not on our behalf. We are not welcoming you, sir. We wish you could go away. Oza Mama Action. Mama Palestine. Oza Mama. Niye Sabana. Niye Sabana. Uputambo. Ay wenza nina. Uputambo. Ay wenza nina. Ay one line. Yo. Ay wenza nina. Ay one line. Yo.
Thank you, comrade. Let's start. Let's Palestine up the scene a bit. Amanda! Amanda! Viva Palestine, viva! Viva South Africa, viva! Viva international solidarity, viva! Down apartheid, down! Down apartheid, down! Comrades, I really feel ashamed that we are still in the 21st century had to come to this place and demonstrate against an apartheid state. It is very shameful, very disappointing. I'm asking, where are the civilized nations and governments from an apartheid state, from the constituent and the institutionalized aggression against Palestinian people? It's really disappointing that we still need to do this kind of demonstration in the 21st century. Comrades, I'm thrilled to be here among you today on this month of human rights in South Africa and on the month of women in the world. We join the peace-loving people of South Africa and the African continent and the rest of the world in launching Israel Apartheid Week by raising our voices and fists from Pretoria, from here, from in front of the Israeli embassy, against the occupation of Palestine and against an apartheid regime. Israel Apartheid Week is a tool for mobilizing grassroots support on a global level for the Palestinian struggle for peace, justice, equality, and dignity. It is a mechanism to raise awareness about Israel apartheid and to mobilize support for strategic campaigns to help bring an end to this system of oppression and aggression. The Israel apartheid regime uses methods such as administrative detention, and by the way, those methods South Africans are well known to, and they were exposed to these measures in the past, like administrative detention, torture, censorship, banning, assassination, extrajudicial killing, inhuman and degrading treatment, and imprisonment of Palestinians to maintain control over their land and their souls. We will continue to mobilize every year on Israel Apartheid Week until apartheid is down.
For as long as the occupying power apartheid Israel continues with their colonial policies that manifest as crippling siege. You have to bear with me. Destruction of Gaza, the annexation of Jerusalem, the building of illegal settlements, and the apartheid wall, the systematic violence in the Gaza Strip and West Bank, and as a result, the dispossession of Palestinians. Comrades and friends, Palestinians have right to dignity, security, and above all, peace. Amnesty International is the latest of three major human rights organizations who labeled Israel on one thing and who agree on one thing. Israel is an apartheid state. Amnesty joined a long list of Palestinian, Israeli, and international human rights organizations and experts in exposing Israel's colonial occupation for what it is, an apartheid regime, an institutionalized system of oppression and domination over the Palestinian people. Amnesty confirms that Israel's apartheid is a violation of public international law, a grave violation of internationally protected human rights, and crime against humanity under international criminal law. In the course of establishing Israel as a Jewish state in 1948, its leaders were responsible for the mass expulsion of thousands of Palestinians and the destruction of their villages in what amounted to ethnic cleansing. As you might know, when Israel invaded and occupied Palestine in 1948, they were able to uproot 750,000 Palestinians from their homelands and scatter them in refuge all over the world. In 2022, these 700,000 Palestinians are amount to 7 million Palestinians still scattered in refuge all over the world with no access to go back to their homeland. They were saying that the old of Palestinians will die and the young will forget. But we say, no, sir, we teach life. This is the spirit and the power of Palestinians. We are the seeds of the land. We will stay and we will stay and we will have our own independent state. One day it's a matter of time. No apartheid regime stays. No imperialistic country stays forever. This is a lesson from history. It's not something new. This is something you have to remember as you claim democracy and civilization. Israel uses military rule to control and dispossess Palestinians to advance Jewish settlements in areas of strategic importance while denying nationality, residence, and family life for Palestinians. We can say and highlight the main components of Israel's apartheid regime that include territorial fragmentation. You are familiar with this, Bantustans. Segregation and control through denial of equal nationality and status, restrictions on movement, discriminatory family reunification law, and restrictions on political participation, suppression of Palestinians' human development and denial of their economic and social rights, preventing Palestinians from claiming and enjoying equal rights to Jewish Israelis, oppressing and dominating Palestinians, negating the right of Palestinian refugees to return to their homelands. These acts are committed with the intent to maintain the system of oppression and domination. And by the way, we are as Palestinians, we engage in a peace process because we want peace. We abandon 70-80% of our mandatory Palestine because we want the Israelis to live beside us in peace and dignity. We are not against the Jewish people. We are against the apartheid regime that Israel, as an occupying power, systematically do against Palestinians. Two other human rights organizations agree that Israel is an apartheid state. Human Rights Watch in 2021 report also stated that in 2020, Israel's colonial occupation systematically oppressed and discriminated against Palestinians. Beit Salem, which is an Israeli leading human rights organization, also labeled Israel as an apartheid state. So the criticism comes again from within. They say a regime of Jewish supremacy from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea, this is an apartheid. Comrades and friends, like oppressed South Africans half a century ago, Palestinians are now looking to Africa to expose, isolate, and boycott an apartheid regime that shamefully still exists in the 21st century. We thank South African government for its continued support. South Africa is a true champion of international solidarity with Palestine and with all other oppressed countries and nations around the world. We salute you, South Africa. We owe you. People's resistance and international solidarity, including sanctions, ended apartheid in South Africa. We do believe it is time for the same to happen apartheid Israel now. Amanda! Amanda! Thank you, comrades.
Thank you, Ambassador. Mama Palestine.
Thank you, Mama Palestine. Arim shapele mato. Are shape mato mole. Realebua. Ke a le bona la phela. Tshwantse ke ne ke le cheke. Le ntse le phela mole. Wonderful. Mole la phela. Mole le ntse le phela. Viva Palestine, viva! Le lona bana ba ka la phela. Le fihlile neng? Le tswa sekolong. Le tlo pasa. You are the future. Hakiri, you are the future. Luna le re no one can stop us. You are the future. You are the future. No one can stop us. Viva future, viva. Comrades, let's listen to our national leader. Kurwa mona ke nomfola sampela. Ha ke miebisa le letsatsi la tloa hore le ska ba le excuse ya o atamela. Ha re atameleng moetapele a kene. Efe. Ngikhumbula kudala. Ayasaba makwala. Ayasaba makwala. Ayasaba makwala. Ayasaba makwala. Oh, jobole polo. Jobolo mdwembe. Jobolo mdwembe. Oh, mama ngiyekele. Oh, mama ngiyeke. Oh, mama ngiyekele. Oh, mama ngiyeke. Oh, jobolo mdwembe. Jobole kwala. Oh, jobolo mdwembe. Jobolo mdwembe. Viva!
Amandla ngawethu. Amandla ngawethu. Long live the struggle of the people of Palestine. Long live. Forward with the freedom of the people of Palestine. Forward. Viva the Tripartite Alliance. Viva. Long live the fighting spirit of Nomzamo Madikizela Mandela. Long live. Long live the fighting spirit of Yasser Arafat. Long live. Long live the fighting spirit of Fidel Castro. Long live. Long live the fighting spirit of Oliver Tambo. Long live. Angeke sizwe ngabo. Angeke sizwe ngabo. Angeke sizwe. Angeke sizwe ngabo. Angeke sizwe ngabo. Angeke. Oh, too many people, Baba. Too many people are dying. Too many. Oh, too many people, Tambo. Too many people dying. Too many people. Out too many Akatambo. Too many Akatambo. City angeke sizwe ngabo. Angeke sizwe ngabo. Auwe muswa Israel auwe. Auwe muswa Israel auwe. Auwe muswa Israel auwe. Down with apartheid Israel, down. Down with apartheid Israel, down. Forward with international solidarity with the people of Palestine, forward. Forward with international solidarity with the people of Sahrawi, forward. Forward to a united solidarity campaign, forward. Amandla, Gawethu, Comrade Peace, Comrade Tintswalo, members of the International Subcommittee of the ANC, Bailing Bonaba organizing program Erikopaning Mokasheku Kayona, our provincial secretary, Comrade Jacob Kawe, the leadership of Cosatu, chairperson of Cosatu, leaders of the Tripartite Alliance, leaders of BDS who are here with us, leaders of the Young Communist League, young people, Malibongwe, igama lamakhosikazi, wathinta abafazi, wathinta imbokodo, wathinta imbokodo. Comrades, we are here again. Ritlilemo hape kasheku on behalf of the African National Congress. On behalf of the African National Congress, we are here to say the ANC and the people of South Africa, the majority of the people of South Africa, stand together side by side with the women and children and ordinary people of Palestine who are yearning for nothing else but for peace, who are yearning for nothing else but for self-determination, who are yearning for nothing else but their own sovereign country where they can have a right to vote, where they can have their own institutions, where they can have their own army that is going to defend Palestine, where they can have their own kids being able to go to school and don't come back killed by the soldiers of apartheid Israel. We're not here for any other thing, but Ngoba, we have also traveled the same journey as the people of Palestine. We know the evil of apartheid. Apartheid is inhuman. Apartheid is a disease, is a deadly disease. Apartheid does not warrant any tolerance. And as Comrade PS of the NC, Comrade Kawe has said, to the man who has been said to be the ambassador of apartheid Israel, we assume you are here to come and pack the belongings of Israel and go back to Israel. We do understand diplomatic positions of government because of our belonging to institutions of the world, but as a liberation movement that has struggled just like the people of Palestine, and I was still struggling together with them today. Your coming to South Africa is unwelcomed. West coming here at a time where you have also continued to kill innocent children who leave their homes in the morning going to school. On their way back from school, they get killed by the apartheid Israeli soldiers. Where pregnant mothers, because of their refusal to obey your instructions, they are seen as terrorists and are maimed. We are here to say this must not be taken as a compliance to a solidarity program, but we must take action, and amongst other things that we must commit, comrades from Cosatu, Comrade Jason, is that Satau, Sakau, Fau, all of them, in solidarity with the people of Palestine, they must intensify a campaign to refuse to touch all goods that are coming from Palestine, from Israel. So that then even those who are going to buy food at Woolworths coming from Israel, they will find it not being in the shelves. To young people, your struggles and your tactics to wage a struggle can't be the same as the struggles of leaders such as President Cyril Ramaphosa. He's a head of state. You must make conditions to be unbearable for apartheid Israel here in South Africa. We must make the conditions to be unbearable for apartheid Israel here in South Africa. How you do it, we shall talk about it, but it is rather too long a time that we have not actually shown that young people of this country defended themselves with a lead of a dustbin. We used to defend ourselves as dustbin against the might of the apartheid South African regime. We must now take our energies and show Israel that young people of South Africa today